When you realize that you only have this time that you're allotted right here and now, that you can take and soak from it everything that you can to live in love and in bliss and in gratitude in that way, in the best way that you can.
So tell us a little bit, just kind of who you are, where you're from, and that kind of stuff.
I am a Chicago native. I'm a young mother, and with my art, I just want to be able to just best represent the truth of myself and whatever the role and the stories are. So I had my daughter when I was 15 years old. I, was raised by my father, and I still saw my mother in the city and stuff like that, but I think not having that constant influence from a woman, I didn't know what to do with myself, and I just wanted to, explore life and figure it out. And at 15, I when you're a kid like that, I think even though you're a child and you feel like you know everything and that you're in some way ready for the world, and even though I entirely wasn't, and I had the blessing of having a father that helped, support me and still keep me in school and be able to even go to college thereafter, I knew that, like Layla, my child, was a part of my story, was a part of my destiny, and I wanted to be the best mother that I could possibly be, but I still knew that within being a young mom that I didn't want to sacrifice my dreams necessarily. We grew up together.
Right.
It's a weird thing to say, but I think that she instilled in me a consciousness of that we're always growing and changing.
Gabby, you actually have lived, we've all lived pain, and we all have pain in our journeys, but you've had some, you're not a pretend. You've had some serious things happen in your life that some people don't even recover from. I know you've experienced some tragedy that even has to do with one of your first loves. And
in 2019, I lost my daughter's father. He was murdered through gun violence, and then about 3-4 weeks later, my dad died, and on the same day, I laugh and I carry a sense of humor about it. Not that it's actually funny. I just, it's just life is crazy sometimes, and if you don't find the laughter, you'll end up going crazy. And that same day that my dad passed away, my acting father, Joe Police, who was a dad for me out here when my dad was back in Chicago, he passed away. I've gone through many, grievances in life, but grief is like a box. And so when the event first happens and loss first happens, the box is really small. And there's a button in that box. And there's a ball bouncing around the box. And so the ball ends up hitting that grief button over and over again. But as time goes on, the box gets bigger. And so, the button still gets pressed, but not as much. When you realize that you only have this time that you're allotted right here and now, that you can take and soak from it everything that you can to live in love and in bliss and in gratitude in that way, in the best way that you can. Every day isn't like that. Every day isn't the same. Right. But knowing and understanding that and regrounding yourself in that, you'll be able to be and feel alive and be here now. Knowing that I don't need all of those things, all of those conditional things to make me happy. And that really the presence of the relationships that I have now are the most meaningful things in my life.
One thing we do as artists, right, is we live in the circumstance to do it, but even in general, what I witnessed you do, and I was doing as well, because I was going through some rough stuff, is we took that energy and put it in what we were doing now, right? Which was the play and was the circumstances. And you were in the moment. I remember it was like you didn't know what was going to be happening in the future. I remember talking and it was like, we're doing this. And all these emotions were coming through and you were living in this, like you were facing the storm. How did you find acting? Let's go there. For some young person that's at home, that's like, man, maybe that's relating to your story. Some young mom who's like, I don't know, I want to be an actor. How did you find it?
I think, watching my dad, he would put on, like older films like Clark Gable, Betty Davis, and things like that. And just, I fell in love with the stories, and I fell in love with the way that, they moved us, especially like watching my dad watch them and being brought to like tears like so easily. And I was like, wow, like this is what these stories do. This is what this art form does, and I want to be a part of that. I decided that I wanted to go to school for acting, or that I wanted to pursue an acting career. My dad was big on college, and so he was like, all right, well, you're going to do it through college. And I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. And I had ended up auditioning and getting in with a school. Acting is different for, everyone, whatever your process is. But I knew that I wanted to tell the truth within me, but I didn't really want to expose myself. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to tell the truth within me, and I wanted to expose myself through I'm this character.
Right.
So that's how because I'm this character.
Gotcha.
But realizing that a lot of where my power came from was getting to the root of who I was and what my experience is, and bringing that truth to the work. I feel like on stage we get to experience more of what that is than like on film, because there is no cut, there is no stop, so we get to like fully take the journey of it. I had went to school for acting, and then I graduated and I came out here as a gift from my father. I had no idea about the business. It's a whole other beast than just like the craft. They're two separate things, very different things. You just like, like you throw yourself in when you're first starting out. Like, right. It's just like, you just got to throw yourself out there and like lead with truth, and you'll learn as you go. I learned so much about myself through the auditioning process, because initially I wanted to express my art and express myself, and I found that upon leaving college. And then when I went through the auditioning process, then it became about booking a job. I lost some of what made me unique as a person and as an artist, because I didn't know how to necessarily own that. I wanted to be like, a young, ingenue, innocent, but I had my daughter at 15 years old. I was hanging out in the streets of Chicago, like there's a lot to me, and I wanted to bring that into my roles, but I also was kind of denying just who I was, and accepting who I was, and then realizing that me accepting who I was brings a truth and a uniqueness to who I am as an artist and as an actress. So then I went from just trying to book a job to trying to have an experience of what I wanted and desired, rather than what I wanted an image that I wanted to convey of what my idea of perfection was to these people, to try to be accepted, and rather just accept myself and own what I was doing. Actually, every time I did book was when I met that line.
Gotcha.
After, I felt like getting Paranormal Activity, I'm about to blow up, it's going to be nonstop work and blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't, it wasn't. I mean, I did get other things, but, you'll find out as an actor, you go from employed to being unemployed, employed to being unemployed. It's a very, roller coaster.
I want to stay right there. That's where I wanted, that's actually leading into what I said. So you get Paranormal Activity. What I wanted to get at in the conversation was, it's not like you show up to Hollywood, you got the agent, and now it's I'm on sets. It's you booked a job. How do you make money to feed your daughter in between those? Oh. Tell us about the grind before the success now.
All right. You don't realize, like, in the in-between time, you are not making any money and living out in LA and taking care of, like, it wasn't just like when my mom moved in with me, my sister and my niece also moved in with me. I'm like, okay, well, what now? Like, I did make money from that, but like that money goes so quickly.
Yeah.
And also now I have not just me and my daughter, but like my mom, my sister, you know, like we're all like figuring it out, living together, and stuff needs to get done. So I went through a lot of periods with depression because I felt like, oh, I've done this, I'm putting my heart and soul into this should be happening for me, but you know, it's still a journey, and I had to go back and forth in between. Then I booked Vampire Diaries, right? And when I booked Vampire Diaries, I had negative dollars in my bank account. Chin Chin, by the way, did not rehire me when I went back for a job. Just putting that out there, Chin Chin. Look at me now.
Look where she's at now, Chin. Okay.
Yeah. But I went back working as a host. Did a play with Jeremy Luke, like in that time, which actually it fed me so much, you know, because I was going through depression. I didn't understand.
Was that the Lobby Hero play?
Yes.
Oh, I seen you in that, but it's before I knew you. That's right.
Yes, that play like saved my life. I got Paranormal Activity, Vampire Diaries, Shameless.
Yeah.
You know, like
Shameless, yeah, huge.
All during that time, and then still had to go back to a restaurant and host.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm always going through, recognizing that I'm going through a spiritual journey at the same time of this career. Like, I don't think there's any separation. And so I'm like, okay, God, like, what am I attracting in my life? What am, you know, like, where am I at, and where do I need to go? And it was always like understanding that, you know, like within this journey in life, I am here for service. Like, it's not just about like booking the jobs. Like, everything is I want to be of service to people.
For anybody at home, no matter what you're doing, if you're a beautician and you're like going, okay, business is bad, that's when the test comes, right? What do I do in that downtime? Some choose to let their ego be like, no, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Me and my brother, we have a little side business, a bartending business. He does not need the money. This guy's on set here today. He does not need the money. This guy is well off in life. But you know what? He's the type of person that when I call him, go, hey man, you want to come work today? Assistant, this is what I can. It's not. It's yes. What do I do? Sit at home and watch a football game? I could. Yes. And you know what? We travel. We go see the world. We're not asking for a handout. I'm the same. It's that attitude that, okay, you're in between jobs. Now the vanity could be like, no, I'm not going to go work for X amount of dollars. I'm not going to come sweep your backyard. For anyone, but especially that young 15-year-old that's at home, doesn't know what it is that they want. Maybe they want to be an actor. Maybe they just don't want to be living in the pain they're living in or the fear. Tell them what's possible, because your story is possible, and it's rare that we get to see the big moment that you're having right now.
Don't worry, you're gonna figure it out. There are so many choices that we have in this life, and not all of them always seem available to us, but when you connect with you and you believe in you, the path will unfold in front of you. Just keep trusting in you and believing in you, and you can do it. I mean, I've faced many challenges in my life and losses in my life and things that I seemingly didn't know that I was going to make it out of. I even, you know, struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts and things like that. And what I always came back to was just loving me for me and trusting that it's going to be okay. And no matter what steps I take, I'm developing and becoming stronger, and that I can do it. I just need to believe that I can and keep moving.
Keep dreaming. If you don't know what your dream is, just keep living, keep looking, keep searching. It's going to come, and you could accomplish anything. This is FYI, finding your inspiration. Follow it. Thank you for tuning in. Paul Tully, and thank you, Gabrielle Walsh, for being here.
Thank you, Paul. Trust the journey.
Trust the journey. Go get it, guys.
You should never stress about the problems you be facing. Everybody in the mud on the struggle trying to make it. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation. Then you step into the world and you find your inspiration. I'm finding inspiration, and once I get a hold of it, I'll never get complacent. Look into the mirror and you see the motivation, then you step into the world and you find your inspiration.